Welcome, I'm Bill Wake. We're working on a set of tools for dulcimer players, and today we're working on a chord chart. We're going to focus today on chord qualities, so the major, minor, diminished, and seventh chords. We're not taking in every possible kind of chord, but these are the ones that are most common on dulcimer-related songs. All right, we left off yesterday with some refactoring, and I think we're going to continue that first. We were focused on fretboard, and we have this function allNotes that's an approximation of telling us whether a chord is valid. Let's see. So, no, I guess this is tell me the set of notes available on a dulcimer in this tuning. But do we know the strings? How's this making sense? Oh, sorry, the tuning, yeah. So we have the layout of the fretboard. Like this one is diatonic plus 6.5 and 1.5. If we know the tuning, we know that what those strings are tuned to. So if there are three strings, one's D, one's A, one's D, that generates a possible set of notes. So D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, or C and D on one string, and so on. So so a standard dulcimer doesn't have an F, doesn't have an E flat for sure. It's got an A flat because there's a G sharp, and they're usually treated the same. All right, and I don't know. Right after we finished, I checked, and the tests that were failing, it was one where I'd adjusted a test for no good reason, I guess. So I reverted that, and I believe we're green again. We'll make sure. Always a good habit to check, and I'm not always doing that. But I think we'll run those tests. The reason I want to refactor this is it's repeating things once for each string, and so we should be able to pass in a string as well as knowing our fretboard. You know, for this string, what notes can you generate? And that becomes important when we try and make realistic chords that don't have the only instance of two notes on the same string, because you can't play two at the same time. All right, at least not normally. I guess if you held your finger just so and strummed on both sides, you might be able to get some noise out, but that's about it. Okay, so we'll let those tests run a moment. Let's see our other stuff. Fretboard tests. So we have a fretboard. If we're adding this thing that checks all notes for a string, we should add a test for that. Fretboard tuning. I don't think we have that. I don't think we have any tests for that. Chord chart, no. And then the last one, AChromaticNotes. Well, the name has changed. Now it's NoteName. Except this test, we apparently extracted NoteName into its own class and then worked with it from there. But this test was left with the leftover copy of it. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we will fix that too. And make it test the real NoteName. I think it's that it's handy to have the class right there when you're first starting developing it, and then I'll drag it off and make a new one. Or sometimes I'm lucky, and if I do this and refactor it and say extract a file, it actually does it. But if it doesn't do it and I do it manually, it leaves it there. You know, if I copy it and paste to get a new thing. And that's apparently what I did this time. Ugh. Okay. Fretboard tuning. No. Where were we? Fretboard. Okay. So this runs through. It runs through all these string by string. Okay. So this is actually string note. Okay, and so really the piece I want is this. If I do it as a set, I don't need to do the flat maps. I can do unions. And so I tried to do two refactorings at once. One was to extract this out, and the other was to make it into a union-based thing. So let's not do that this time. Let's do it a little bit at a time. All right, and I think this frets is us, our class, and we get the fret and we add that string node. So I think the result of this is like array of, yeah. Okay. Well, let's try that. Let's put the reduce here. And then we learned yesterday to do into set of NoteName empty, and then into update accumulating result is result and array of NoteName. Okay. Yeah. So we have results, notes in. Okay. So we're going to create the initial set, and then we're going to take the result union. Now, form union. I guess union. Okay. Notes is not a set though; it's an array, and so we'll turn that array into a set, and then return result. Okay, so. Oh man. Maybe it is form union. Okay. Yeah, union produces a new result. We're trying to modify the one we started with here. Okay. I think this should still work. So we're piecemeal turning our arrays of notes into sets, and then reduce says take the list of those arrays and almost like inserting a plus between, if they were numbers, 1, 2, 3, and you put a plus between them all. That's what reduce is like. Except here the plus is really the union operator, and we want to make sure we got sets adding to sets, so we do a little bit of conversion for that. Okay, we're looking for a fretboard. There it is. Okay. Notes for tuning and fret pattern. All right. So that guy's okay. All right. Now, can I push this back? Okay. Let's extract allNotes, string note of NoteName, and then we're going to produce the same thing this does, which is array of NoteName. And let me just check. Notes should be array of note. Okay, NoteName. Yep. Okay, and then we'll get this in and then modify it further. So if you have string note and you do this, that should be the same. Okay, so take all the frets in the map and turn them into yeah, basically take that fret, and then his index is really his offset, so do that, and that produces array of NoteName. And now this frets.map, that's already there. So I think we're saying all notes for string note. Okay. Okay. And now, well, let's simplify a little more. Since we only have one thing in here, we can do this. Okay, so we take our tuning notes, map it into the notes for each string, and reduce that set. Okay, that was just formatting, but the next thing I'm going to do is make this into a set of NoteName. Okay, so I'm trying to get rid of this. And to convert this to a set, we just do set of this. Okay, so we'll wrap it into a set, so this doesn't need to. All right, let's make sure that's good. While that's thinking, so if you have a set of things that are mapped, you could take a set of the starting point and map those, presumably assuming each one maps to the consistent value, which they do. So I'm going to turn this into a set of frets and then map that. And then again, since this is kind of a one-liner, I think we'll go to that $0 notation and do that. And while we're at it, let's test this function too. let's just take the A. Wow, that's pretty good guessing. A, B, C, C sharp. Okay. And we're doing the same. All notes. Oh, this has to be note. NoteName. Okay. We didn't hear the ding, but I guess we're good. All right. So that should then be equivalent to the set of frets. So we'll turn it into a fret, the set first, so we don't have to put the big wrapper around the whole thing. It's a little more simple. Fret conform to a hashable. Maybe not unreasonable. Maybe I'm not going to get my wish. So set does not have a map. Cannot return expression of type array of note name to return type set of note name. Oh, does sets map produce an array? That's annoying if true. It does. Oh, come on. All right. We'll go back. Okay, well, we have our new test anyway. This too. Okay, the result is take the notes from the tuning, map them into the notes on a given string, and then reduce those sets to their union. All right, and then we can just return that, and don't have to assign it and then return it. Okay, I think we're there. I'm very surprised about map. All right. All right, let's deal with this embarrassment first. Let's rename him. Oh yeah, he's not as badly named as he could be, but we dropped the word position, so NoteName. And this goes away. Okay, we can get from a note to its position, we can add them, we know the name. Let's just take a peek at NoteName, make sure we didn't leave off anything we should test. And constructors. Okay, we did both positions and names, so okay, that's pretty good. Make sure that passes. All string notes for string note. Well, he does take a note, yeah. It's a question of whether it's for a string or a tuning. We haven't really differentiated string from the note for a string. So our tuning is 3 different note names. Okay, you're still running. And what was that last test area? Well, we did this. I think my numbering is off here somewhere. '17 was chord chart. Was it metronome? No. I'm off somewhere. Well, I'll fix this far at least. AllNotes and AllNotes for string. Yeah, it's really AllNotes for a tuning and AllNotes for a string. I think you'll be giving it a different enough argument. I mean, as of right now, this is public and we've tested it, but nobody's really calling it specifically. But I think as we do the chord stuff, that will become more important because we're gonna have to take a string and say, okay, do you have an F or a G on you, and I want to know the chords that start with G, or that include this note G on this string, and the chords that are relevant have to be within a few frets on either side. So if it becomes a barrier, I mean, it's a good thing to pay attention if it becomes confusing. This is kind of a substitute for actually checking that you could really make a particular chord, whereas this one is really is trying to find the notes on a string in a useful way. We'll have to watch it. Okay. What was that last bit? Chesting, fretboard tuning. All right. Well, he's pretty minimal. Won't take too long to do a test for him. Oh, I guess we can commit these. Okay, so fretboard tuning. What is he? Oh, he's just those 3 notes. Okay. Yeah, so let's make a DAD tuning, make sure, well, let's make it DAC. We'll make sure that D is the right start note and the chromatic notes starting from that note are correct. Okay. It really just has the right start note is the first thing. Okay, yeah. FretboardTuning has the right start note. Okay. Now, he doesn't know the fretboard. I don't know. Should I rename this Chromatic Notes? I think I will. Something not so right. Okay, anyway, starting from D, we have D. NoteName. Okay, he's got all sharp notes. Okay. I think there's a way to say this more elegantly. Okay, let's make sure this passes. So this is basically the order that we're going to list our chords. We're going to take the lowest note and start from there. Is this just a long line? Yeah. Well, I think this can be better. Okay, I think it might be like NoteName.init. Nope. Okay. Start note notes and notes. Well, that's a thought. All right. So if we look at this routine, he doesn't use notes at all. Does he? He does. He knows start note, which indirectly uses it. So, I mean, start note certainly implies the notes. Whether to say it knows them, I guess you could say note chromatic notes from something off a note. Yeah, maybe that's a better deal. We'll push it into NoteName and then use it there and then deal with the callers. Okay, so this is from position. Offset oil. Okay, so this says run through the chromatic notes starting at position and return the note corresponding to the position plus the offset. Okay. And then I guess we won't use that unless we should say start note.chromaticnotes. Nice, yeah. I think there's only one caller, which is content view. Oh, a test. Okay, yeah, we just wrote that test. All right. So tuning dot start note dot chromatic notes, and then let's move it. Whoops. So chromatic notes is C, C sharp, D. Why so many lines of stuff? Note name position 2. Oh, that's not the real note. C, C sharp, D. Position plus offset. Oh, we don't do percent. Yeah, we need to. Maybe the initializer could do it. Surprised that didn't blow up. Well, this test is going to move. Okay. Well, fretboard tuning's not doing a whole lot there. But, okay, all right. Make sure who's using that too. Okay, lots of places. We have lots of tests and the real thing. Fastest tuning. Fretboard allNotes. Okay. So the thing to check is make sure it shows all the chord possibilities starting with D. Yeah. Same order we had. Good. All right. Does fretboard have an initializer? Yeah. He's given the frets. No, I don't think tuning should be in the fretboard. Because we're going to take different fretboards applied to the same tuning, so that feels funny to mix them in. But I agree, he's not doing a lot there. He's publishing the notes. He's determining them. He's publishing them, and he's telling you what your start note is based on this tuning. There may be more growing. I think we'll hold off changing him, but I mean, one thing that will happen is we want to be able to accept sharps and flats, and this assumes it's all one character ones. So I know we have to do that, and that'll add a little complexity in there too. All right, so we did the backfilling. Okay. Let's say tunings should allow accidentals, little sharps and flats. Okay. Refactoring is done. Well, I don't even have a task for this one, but I want to do the chord qualities. So let me go back to content view. Let's close all this. Oh, I guess I want chord chart. Okay, so yeah, here we do. If the chord has major notes, put major out there. We want to do the same thing for minor and diminished and seventh. I think we could probably put this up there once now. Whoops. I'm just going to put one keyboard up there. It looks goofy to have a bunch of identical ones, even though we want to get away from that. All right. So I'm going to comment this out. Okay, so, well, this is really the header of that. Okay, so I don't know. We have this has major chord notes. I want one that's very similar, but minor chord notes. All right. Do we have a chord chart? Yes. Okay, now, do we have any minor chords in this? We have D, E, F, F sharp, Okay, so yeah, so DFA, if this is D E F F sharp, A B C C sharp, so D F A is a D minor chord. Okay, so it will have a D minor, and okay, and I guess I'm gonna D E F sharp, A B C C sharp. Okay, I guess I'm gonna add a test on this one. We got one that was there. We haven't proven that we know when we don't have one. So let's make sure we do have that ability. All right, and our test for minor should do the same thing. A, B, C, C sharp. B is B, D, F. So that's okay. Sorry, I'm going to write them down. Okay, so an E major chord, sorry, E minor chord is E, G, B. We have a B and an E, but no G in this weird fretboard. Okay, and we don't have the minor chord function yet, so let's get that in there. Good. Well, except this should be a not. Okay, so it would have passed because this is false to start with, but that's all right. Okay, I think we'll start with the easiest way and then extract out the commonality. Okay, so this is minor pattern. And I'm sure you recall from our theory lesson, 0, 3, 7 is minor. So a major chord with the flatted third turns it into a minor chord. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think we should do something on that line. They are very similar. So, well, what I'm wondering is even at the level up here, right? I mean, our code for this is going to be if chord has major Chord Notes put out the name with minor on it. That seems pretty susceptible to, like, maybe the quality is the name and we can iterate over that, you know. So yeah, let's make a map. So far we just have major and minor. Okay, so now this is okay, and then I think the generic form has chords, chord root, and then quality. And we're saying set take quality, quality, offset, that's all the same. And let's well, let's test that one instead. Has what do I call it? Chords, quality chords, has chords. Is it of? Maybe that would be worth saying. that'll be better. Now I always forget there's all cases and iterable or something for enums. Because we're going to want to make these. We want to be able to run through these in order. Oh, case iterable. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And then this. Well, I think what we're going to do is for each chord quality dot all cases id backslash dot self do some stuff. Well, let's run this, but it's going to call them all major. They're not. I guess I'm wondering, should we embed that in the enum? Maybe so. The other way would be to make these be of type string, and then major equals major, and so on. One of the challenges with that is then you can't do other things. Yeah, raw value capitalized. That might work. Yeah, let's provide that. Okay, D major, D major, E major, E major, F major, F major. No, F sharp minor. Oh, there's F sharp minor, but not F sharp major, because we don't have A sharp. Okay, yeah, let's put that on here. Function name is a string, and it's going to be self.raw. Self has no member raw value. I thought they always had that. Self dot name. No, that's not gonna work. But let's see. Why is there no wrong value? Did I spell it wrong? Oh, we made them strings after all. Okay. I don't want the locale. Yeah, I do have to do it. Oh, maybe I don't have to. I can just do that, I think. No, it's required. Okay. Locale.current. Locale. I thought they were always there too, but I guess it's only if you have if you're extending a type, and then it makes sense to have a raw value, but apparently not otherwise. I totally thought they would. I thought they would be integers underneath and map that automatically for you, but that's okay. All right, but now we got description, so let's do quality.description. All right, so we're saying there are D major, D minor, E major, yes, E minor, yes, F major, F minor, yes. Interesting, but yeah, so it took the G sharp, even though F minor is F, A flat, C, we've always talked about it as G sharp, but G sharp is A flat, and it's based on the position in the chromatic scale, not the name we give it. So yes, there is an F minor. There's an F sharp minor, but no F sharp major, because there's no A sharp. That'd be a 4.5. G major, yes. G sharp major, no. G sharp minor, no. There's G sharp BD is diminished. A major, A minor, B minor, no B major, because there's no D sharp. C sharp major, C sharp, E sharp, G sharp, well that's that F, and C sharp minor, C sharp, E, G, G sharp. Okay, so I believe that's the accurate list according to this kind of dulcimer. All right. It doesn't help you so much. It just says like, okay, you can find an F sharp minor if you look hard enough and you know what you're looking for. But that's where the chord keyboards are coming in, and well, I guess, yeah, okay, this is good. Whoops, stop. Try that again. Okay. Well, the next one is, I think let's go ahead and add the diminished in the 7th. Okay, so a very similar chart. Test. Okay, diminished. Oh, that test should say minor, minor. That should say diminished. Okay, now let's see if we have a diminished chord in here. D, F, A flat. D, F, A flat would be diminished. E, G flat, which is F sharp. B flat is G sharp, we don't have, okay. F diminished is F, A flat, or G sharp, we don't have. F sharp diminished, F sharp, A, C sharp. Nope, F sharp, A, C. Okay, so the only diminished chord we have is F sharp. And this one is, any of these others are not. Okay. And diminished is not on our list. Diminished. Okay. Okay, this test should fail at least one of them. Whoops. Oh, it has F sharp minor and it has F sharp diminished. Okay. What's a chord we don't have in minor? B, D, F sharp, C, E flat. Okay, we don't have a C. Well, no, that's true. It's saying we don't have any diminished. That's correct. And it's going to have to be correct for just about everything. Well, I'm going to... How do I distinguish this? I guess I need an example that's available as a diminished, but not... Yeah, we need to change the pattern. It'll still be the same, but the test, right? We haven't seen the test fail because as far as this test data goes, there is no chord, there is no note for which there's a diminished chord but not a minor chord. So I would be okay if one of these two failed but not the other, but with both of them passing, I really can't say I have a failing test at this point. Can we make... D, F, if I put a G sharp on... Okay, I'm going to do it the weird way, I guess. So this is D, E, F, F sharp. I go up 2, 6, 3, regular. Okay, so now I'm adding G sharp and D sharp. That's 3 plus. Okay. So I do have a E G sharp B I do have, so that one won't work for this. What's a chord I still don't have? A C sharp B, B D sharp F sharp. Yeah. C, E, G, we don't have C. Okay. Because there's no G, there's only G sharp. Okay, so we don't have a C chord, which is C, E, G. Now this one, we don't have a G, so there's no E minor. Okay, I think... Well, now, wait a minute. Do I have an E diminished? E, G, B flat. Okay, I don't think I do. All right, let's try this again. So it gets hard because we're approaching, I mean, what do we have, 10 notes here out of the 13? So we have to find one of the ones that doesn't happen. Now, I think this one's going to say it's well, yeah, it's still going to not be there because F sharp. Let's see, E, G flat, B flat. We don't have a B flat. Okay, so it should not be there. So it has an F sharp minor. Do I acquire a different? Oh, my brain's going. It's been a long time since I had music theory classes, let me tell you. All right, so G sharp, G diminished is G, B flat, D flat. So G sharp diminished is G sharp, B, D. Okay, we have that. But do we have G sharp minor, G sharp, B, D sharp? We do. F, A flat, D, F, A flat. Okay, do we have D diminished? We have D minor. What notes are we missing? D, E, F, G, A, B, C, C. Oh, maybe I can't do it with this data set. How is this all the notes? I'm missing something. I guess I'm missing B flat. I must be missing something else. C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G sharp, A. 3, 5, 8, 10. B flat is clearly missing. What else is missing? Okay, I'm going to take this out. We're going to write a new test set. This can be major minor board. So F sharp minor is F sharp, A, C sharp. So he's there. Already. And F sharp, A, C is the diminished. Okay, so this is no longer that. I think we'll have a better chance if we construct a board that... I think I can put this in here without compromising myself too much. Okay. So if we have fret 0, we can't make an F sharp major because that would need that B flat, which is A sharp. But that's. I mean, I think this is fine. We'll find one. Okay, so this is D. So D, F, A sharp. So let's put fret 2 to regular and D, F, A flat or G sharp. So first off, I'm lying. So fret 4 is F. All right, I don't have that running. 0 to 2 is the 1. The 1.5 is 3. The F is no D, E, F. I guess I want this one after all. Okay, D, F, and then A sharp is going to be, well, F sharp is 5, G is 6, so 7. D, E, F, G. Is that a 3 plus? Am I counting it? Oh, yes. No, that's not right. I should get the 6, right? Because we know the pattern. The pattern is 0, 3, 6. Okay, so this is D, F, D, F, A flat. Yeah, I mean, I can have a minor chord on there, just have to make sure that I don't have the one I'm looking for. So, but I think this will be okay if I get the numbers right. So, G sharp on the main fretboard, G is usually 3, so this is 3 plus, I think. And that should give me D, F, G sharp equals A flat. Okay, so D, F, A flat. So F to A flat's a minor third, D to F's a minor third. Diminished chords, 2 stacked up minor thirds. So that should be easy to find in this board. And remember, we're just looking for a failing test at this point. Okay, so D diminished should be there. And E diminished should not. There's not even an E on here. Okay. I think I can probably make this a little better if I do this. 7. Make it a 0 plus, a 2, and a 4. I just want to not be exactly the right pattern. All right, hopefully. Well, no, I haven't. Oh yeah, 1 plus 3 is 4 plus 3 is 7. Yeah, that sounds right. It's funny sometimes how hard it is to find the right failing test. Good. Okay. So chord chart now. This should be 0, 3, 6. The name's okay. The quality's okay. Oh no! Meditation failed. D. Oh, the tuning's the same, but this should be D sharp. Does that work? Yes. Okay, so I raised it by 1, so it's no longer D, it's D sharp. Okay, yeah. All right. All right, the next one. Well, I glossed over something in our theory lesson the other day. Where'd that go? Okay, yeah. There's two kinds of seventh chords. Actually, there's three that are common enough, but two we care about. So, in the C7, like this, we take the normal C chord and we go up to the flat seventh of the scale. So if you're in the C scale, it's supposed to be all white keys, but the C7 chord actually has a B flat. And the minor chord, you take the minor chord, same as always, C flat, G is minor, but you take that same flat seventh. There's also one called a major seventh, which would be to move this dot down here, so it'd be the four notes in the scale. Very jazzy, not a folk tuney kind of thing. So we want this one that's called the dominant seventh, or the minor seventh, I guess is the other name. But you could have a C major seventh or a C minor. I think they do +7 or something, but there's a way to notate that it's different. But we need these two, and they have to be two different ones because they have two different patterns. Okay, so let's do quality. And I'm going to add them both at the same time because we know what we're doing now. Okay, dominant 7. Oh, man. That's going to screw up our description thing. Yeah, there's no way to do it. Yeah, C major 7 would be the one with the B natural in it. It's major because it comes in the major key. Yeah, dominant is the fifth chord of the scale, and in the major key, the fifth chord of the scale has the right note for it. Yeah, I'm just not sure if they have a C minor with a major seventh on the interval. I'm not sure how they. I think it's CM +7 or CM major 7 or CM maybe triangle 7. All right, but anyway, I'm going to call this minor 7, and we're going to modify this. Yeah, let's just do this. Switch self. Maybe I should just say 7. And it likes it formatted differently, of course. All right, now can we get our sevenths off this? So D, F sharp, A, C is a 7th. Yeah, that'll work. E, G sharp, B, D is not in there. Okay. All right, so this one, D, F, A, C. Oh, yeah, that works. D. Oh, we need a different one then. E, F, A, C, E flat, F sharp, A, C sharp, E. Okay, so F sharp. And then we have no G, so that one should be properly failing. Okay. Well, okay, now I gotta satisfy some curiosity here. What's the right one for that major minor seventh? Sometimes I've heard them called major minor sevenths. That's different. Maybe I should have said notation. Oh, M7 or minus 7. Commonly written CM M7 like that. I gotta say, I haven't seen that. I'm not a big jazz guy, but that I've seen. Just A minor 7. I don't usually see it superscripted, but that's... yeah, that'll be okay. And we'll tweak the names. Are you still running? Oh, boom. Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so hopefully that'll fail still. Oh, I guess I asked a different question. CM with a capital M7 being the major seventh. That might be usual. Yeah, known as a minor seventh. You also have minor majors. Also known as the Hitchcock chord. I assume that's for Alfred Hitchcock. 1 flat 3 5 and 7. Okay, I guess that's legit. Okay, so as one of our... Alright, the D1 failed. Let's fix that. Well, I'll cheat and just look. So +4 + 10. All right, we're due for a break. We'll let that test run, come back, check it, and figure out what's up with the other test, and be back in 3 or 4 minutes. All right, welcome back. I guess we're just going to need another board for this minor seventh case. I kind of spelled through them all, and we always have the minor chord if we have the seventh on that board, so we'll do another little custom one. I'm not going to worry about the 0-bit this time, though. Okay, so if we have 0, that's D. If we have 4, that's F. And we want C. Well, I guess if we had 3 is 1 plus. Okay, so this D, F, F. Wait a minute, what's... D, F, F sharp, and then A, D to F's a minor third, so A to C, C sharp. Okay, so the D minor seventh is D, F. Well, no, we don't want the A. F, A, C. No, we don't want that. F sharp. F sharp, A, C sharp. Ugh, 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 ugh. Who knew this could be so hard to find these examples? But I guess that's a reason they have, 2 or 3 strings to make sure you get those notes you need. Let's change the tuning. If it were DB tuning, DCC, let's try something like that. Okay, then it's, well, what we want is DF missing A and a C. So I think this might give it to us. C, D sharp is the minor third, and then E. Okay, so yeah, we can get D, F, A is missing, and C, but we want the fifth to be missing. I mean, we don't really care if it is or not, but as far as our test, we do. Okay, so I have to do a weird tuning. D, C, C. And then the F sharp, no, I guess the D7 is there. D minor 7 is there, but E minor 7 is not, because that's E, G, F, so it doesn't have a G. Okay, so last one's G. All right, let's run that test. So in high school and maybe a little bit in junior high and in college, I was mostly playing classical piano and taking music theory classes and all that good stuff. Maybe 15 years ago, I really started playing dulcimer and much more folk tunes and old time tunes and all that stuff. And, the theory is much deeper on the classical side. There's a lot of subtlety and nuance in some things, especially if you get into the singing, but yeah, so you definitely get rusty on stuff you don't use. All right, so this one, the pattern is n plus 3, n plus 10. 0, 3, 10. That should pass. And then how are we saying this? C7, C minor 7. I guess we use capital here. Yeah, I guess I'll go back to the keyboard here. So C7 doesn't stay on the white keys, even though it's key of C, but key of C, G, B, D, F does stay on the white keys and does have a 7th chord, so it's a G7. And all right, good. Whoops. Push. I did go back through my theory books. I mean, college is quite a few years back for me, but I kept those books because I did stay with amateur music for my whole life, basically. So, and I don't know, probably 10 years ago, I went and covered them end to end and just really studied my way through, and all the obscure stuff that we don't use in just playing music so much. It's more, you know, creating songs. You might lean on that some, or analyzing classical music. Okay, so dang, you have a heck of a lot of choices on a dulcimer like this. I mean, chromatic dulcimer would have everything, you know, but D major, D minor, D diminished, D7. I think that order is probably not ideal. I think I want the 7th. And maybe I should say 7th with TH on the end. Alright, so I'll put the dominant 7 after the major and the minor 7th after the minor. Okay. Well, circle of fifths is worth understanding. I mean, it's kind of a, you know, it's kind of a fundamental theorem if you want to think of music as being a mathematical thing. But you know, all this stuff was new, you know, like the time of Bach. So, you know, players before that didn't worry about the circle of fifths, I don't think. But Bach wrote something called the well-tempered clavier. I don't know how you say it in German, but that was when they were first designing instruments that, well, if you do the circle of fifths, so if you just start on a note and you go up 5 notes and then go up 5 notes and go up 5 notes and go up 5 notes, in theory you'll wrap around, but it kind of depends on, you know, G sharp and A flat being the same thing, kind of. You know, if you're on a keyboard, you don't have much choice. In a violin, you can kind of bend it and tweak it and make it a little different. But so the well-tempered part was saying, like, instead of just tuning it as it goes all the way up by fifths, we sort of tweak them a little bit and just kind of balance them out so that by the time we come around, it wraps and makes a circle and it doesn't miss, you know, so the octave comes out as a circle. But you know, that was a relatively new concept in 1750 or whatever. So he was 1685 to 1750, so you know, somewhere in the 17th century probably they got that thing going. Yeah, and the chord progressions are probably the second thing, but a lot of that comes down to the circle of fifths, or going backwards, it's the circle of fourths. And kind of what it boils down to is if you go from the 5 chord to the 1 chord, kind of because of the way harmonics on the instruments and everything go, but also just kind of the fundamental note distinctions and stuff. But a 5 chord to a 1 chord, especially a 5/7 chord, GBDF going to CEG, really sounds like dun dunk, it just sounds very complete and done. And then if you go to the other chords and sort of derive them, well, what's the 5 chord of the 5 chord? Well, it's the 2 chord. And so you'll see a lot of times a progression that's like 2-5-7, very common in jazz, or they like to do the circle of fourths and go kind of the other way on things. But in a very common thing to see D minor to G to C. That's a minor 2 chord, a major 5, and a major 1 chord. That's the that best kind of approximation in the diatonic scale. If you start allowing sharps and flats that aren't in the key, then you can do fancy stuff, and like the jazz folks just go nuts for that. All right, D major D 7th. I don't think I want to say dominant 7th, even though my music theory teacher would probably do that. But my goodness, I had no idea we had all that many of these chords out there. Now, part of that is like I'll probably, well, at some point we'll have a drop down that selects what kind of dulcimer. If it's chromatic, then you're not missing anything. They'll all be there. But jeepers, they're kind of, well, okay, there's no A diminished. If you had chromatic, it would have it. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're looking up, we don't think about some of these chords very much. And if you needed a G sharp diminished, you go like, I don't know, G sharp diminished. I usually play D, G, or A, Okay, but I think this list is the right list. So I think, so far we're on the right track. Okay. So I guess we just rearrange enum to be a more natural list of chord types. Okay. All right. Well, we have half an hour, and we're going to start something that we will not finish in half an hour. But, well, let's get our to-dos right. Check the chords, identify chord shapes. We don't do that. What have we done? I guess we've added support for all the chord qualities. Support major, minor, 7th, and diminished chord qualities. Okay, and I don't plan to come back to that part of things. Is there any song using G sharp diminished? Well, yeah, because, and this is more theory, but G sharp diminished is G sharp B D, and if you said what's an E7 chord, well, it's E G sharp B D, and so the diminished chord is really the top half of a 7th chord. And so if you know that the root of that is going to be E, E, G sharp, B, D, you can pretend it's an E7 chord and use it harmonically. And that 5-1 rule says, okay, if E is the 5th chord with the dominant 7th, what does it want to go to? It wants to go to an A. So if you had a song that was in the key of A, you could still play it on a DAD dulcimer as long as you don't let, like, the D string, if it drones, would sound in the way, because A and E are the two notes you want to hear. But yeah, you would use that G sharp diminished in place of an E chord. And so if you did G sharp diminished goes down to A, it would feel like E7 goes to A, and especially if some other instrument is playing the extra note that you're leaving out, the bass note of the chord, the E, your ear almost wants to hear it anyway, because the fifth, basically a major note that isn't like a flute, that's not a super pure tone, almost always the strongest sound will be the root, the name of the chord. So if it's a C chord, the strongest note that's in that mix of harmonics is the C, and the second strongest is the G. And so that's kind of why you want to hear that G go down to the C, because they're both part of that same harmonic series. And yeah, so it's very doable. And even for dulcimer people, we might sometimes have that, because depending excuse me, where your hand is and what you can reach. Sorry. But anyway, yeah, let's move on. And I think the next thing to do is, well, identify chord shapes. I think it's really this is going to be the next bang for the buck thing. If I told you, here's F major, and here are the possible notes that you would use for an F major chord, and I showed you on the dulcimer fretboard, you could find like the 3 notes you want, and something that doesn't stretch your hand into some unbelievable shape, and knowing the notes would be enough to maybe help you work through the chord. I mean, you'd have to know a little bit of the theory, but it's probably enough to help without actually going through and identifying here's the feasible things to grab, which we will do eventually. But first I want to put some dots on our fretboard. More or less like putting dots on the piano keyboard, Okay, so draw notes. So, well, let's go back to fretboard view. Now, I'm not sure how to best specify these, but yeah, this list is not oh, no, we're not checking playable. Sorry. We're checking, do the notes exist on the dulcimer keyboard somewhere? And then we should check, can I generate them with the 3 strings I have? One of the 3 tones on each string. And then we should identify, could I possibly stretch that to get it if I needed it? So yeah, there's, I think answering the question of, does this, is there an F major chord? I think if we can say, yes, there is, and here are the possible reachable arrangements. I'm not so interested in a chord that you can't play. But I don't know, because the way the dulcimer is, I mean, DAD is, something that's sort of like the root, and then sort of more or less halfway up the octave, and then the root again. So it's pretty hard to say something that you can't reach anywhere, Once in a while, for a melody reason or something, somebody might write a really big chord, but usually there's probably a substitution you can do of putting the chord in a different place on the fretboard. But not always, all these rules have exceptions. But anyway, I think if we, yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's sort of one of the people in the community, he writes these wonderful arrangements of like show tunes and all kinds of things, but he has pretty big hands, and occasionally his arrangements have something where you're really trying to reach further than I can reach, basically. For me, like I said, mine are average, I think, maybe no bigger than average anyway. So for his arrangement, usually if you're supposed to reach a 1, 6, 7 or something that's way hard, then he'll usually provide you an alternative, but it'll admittedly sound better with the one he really wants, so. All right. So fretboard view, I'm I'm sort of imagining it without maybe justification or something. I'm not sure. I mean, the fretboard view is really in terms of frets, and it doesn't know notes or any of that stuff. It just knows if you tell me to put a fret, on the third spot of the chromatic scale, I'll put a fret there. You tell me what style to draw it in, I'll draw it there even. If you want to know how far away it is from the other one on the physical pixels, I'll tell you. Okay, but he has no clue of notes. So somebody else is going to have to calculate what are the notes that we want. Now, I think that's going to involve that same, well, it's absolutely going to involve the same stuff as this. And, we could probably move this into the enum too. You asked me what the quality is for a given thing. Yeah, I bet we could do that. But these are going to come up again because that tells you, this is the key that tells you what notes are in the chord. Okay, count up to the fourth one, count up to the seventh, you got a major chord. And so if we took a given note, let's take the D, the first D on the dulcimer, we know that D is the root of the chord, and F sharp is going to be the third of the chord, and A is going to be the fifth of the chord. And knowing those three things, knowing that pattern, we can say what are the notes in the chord, in a major chord. You tell me the starting point, I'll tell you the following notes. All right, so but in terms of the fretboard view, I think somebody's going to have to say, what fret number do we draw it on? Are there child dulcimers? Yeah, there are. And actually, I have a travel dulcimer that it's basically half an octave lower, and it's maybe it's probably that long, and a full dulcimer's that long. I don't know if I'm out of screen. Okay, full dulcimer that long. I don't know what the length is. Okay, and they call them ginger dulcimers. I don't know if that'll be very. Okay, here's McSpadden, one of the bigger builders. They'll probably tell us how long the string is, and then we can compare it to the other ones. Okay, a ginger 23-inch fretboard. Okay, that feels good size, but that's 2 feet. Okay. VSL on McSpadden dulcimer. Okay, 28, 20, 26, 28 and a half. I've seen 27 and a half. Okay, so it's a few inches shorter. Okay. And yes, it is easier to reach them. Although as you move up the dulcimer, the frets get closer together, and then you got to worry that your big old fat fingers can't quite squeeze in. So you can't win. Yeah. So okay, their standard was 28 and a half. They do make a 26. They do make a 23 and a half that's a little shorter and is pitched a little higher. I think there are ones out there that aren't pitched higher that are shorter though, But I have mine that I use for a travel dulcimer, 36 inch. Ooh. And it's nice. I could stick it on a plane, I could tuck it under my seat and that kind of thing when I was traveling all the time. I had another one that was in a box that was a little bigger, but I mean, it looked like a pool cue box or something. And you would slide the top of the box off and flip it over, and the fretboard would be mounted to the inside of that box, basically. But yeah, and that's another reason. Like I have more tunings. You could tune a mountain dulcimer to DAD, maybe EBE. Maybe down to AAA or something, but A is a very floppy sounding dulcimer, but a ginger dulcimer is pitched up, so ADA is a great tuning for that, or AEA, and not a very good tuning for a regular dulcimer. And then there are baritones that are pitched down half an octave, and they also like ADA. Okay. Okay, so I think what I'm going to have to assume is if you're going to call this draw whatever, um, we're going to pass in a set of we're going to have to pass in a set of positions. And I guess that's going to have to be by strings, which we kind of know, but not especially. um, but okay, so if I gave you, if suppose we only wanted to draw them on the base string, all right, and if I gave you a list of positions, 0, 4, 7, okay, the major notes, you could absolutely draw those. Now, I think it's going to have to be a separate list for each string, and I think we have two things to differentiate. One is which string is it on. The other is what fret, and the third thing is what position is it in the chord, the root, the fifth, or whatever. So I guess I'm imagining there's some entity that has those 3 bits of information, and we pass that into fretboard view, and it goes through and draws those on top of everything else it's drawn, just like it drew the frets over top of the strings. Okay, so what is that entity? It is maybe it's a chord tone. I'm gonna go with that. All right, so let's start there. I'll make a new empty file. Okay. All right, and we'll go ahead and put the struct in here again. See if I can remember to pull it out before we need to. Chord tone. Now I don't know. It doesn't. Maybe I don't even need to test this thing, because I think, as far as I know right now, it's going to be string is an int, fret is an int, and I guess a type. What do we call these? Root, third, fifth. It's another extensions. What's an extension? Is it positions? Root position. It's not the inversion. yeah, chord quality. Okay, so we use the right name for that. Yeah, I guess it's interval speaks of the chord's root position. Now, root position, yeah, no, that's different. Oh, it's so hard to find the terms. It's really the interval. I'll say chord interval. That'll cover us. Okay. Yeah, let me move these in here. Oh, missed. Okay. And I'm going to make this more chord tone. Maybe I have nothing to say about it because it's more of a, I don't know what you'd call it. It's not a carrier type, but it's almost like a data object. I mean, that's kind of all it's going to be, and it's representing some information that's going from the music end of things to the drawing end of things, and it's almost like it was something on the other side of the network. You know, like this guy knows music. That guy knows fret numbers. Okay. So I guess the question then is if well, I guess I want to ask, given a tuning and a fretboard, what are the chord intervals for a given chord and quality? Yeah. Now, I don't know if I'm asking chord chart. Yeah, let's assume that's what we're asking. Because chord chart's the one that brings together tuning and fretboard. So he knows those things. We're going to ask it about a given note and a given quality and get this information back. Okay. So a chord chart. Wow, that's going to be more complicated, isn't it? All right. Another sweater we have sus2 chords. Okay, I'll give him credit for that. Let's see. So he's gonna knows what notes are in a major chord for a root. This doesn't bode well for the name of this function, does it? Okay, let's set equals chord chart. Fretboard tuning, DAD. And let's take the major minor board. Okay. And I expect stop. Set dot what do we call those again? Chord tones. Chord tones for D major equals some horrendous array. Okay, D major, D, F sharp, A. Well, you know, I'd really like major. Okay. Oops. Okay, the bass string, 0. The fret is 0. And the position, the interval, is that what we call it? Type, I'm going to call it interval. It's not quite the right word, but I don't have a better one. Root. Okay. And maybe this is a set. Okay. So the D will also be on the the third string, which is number 2, in that same position. String 2, because it's DAD. I don't think we'll get further than 6. Okay, now we want the third. And the 5th. Okay, the third is F sharp, which only shows up here at fret 4. So fret 4. Now this one. Okay, the A, is only here on the middle string. Okay, only one of them, not 3 of them. String 1, fret 0 is the 5th, and that's all we got there on that board. Okay, chord tone conform to hashable, okay. Requires this to be hashable. Canonic for contextual base. Yeah, we'll fill that in. Okay, so we need chord tones. And then quality. returns a set of chord tones. Okay. And he's going to return a set of empty stuff. Is that going to work? Yep. All right. That should build. Oh, come on. You can infer that. I called it chord tones? Yep. He's just behind, I hope. Okay. Got back nothing. We're expecting a big complicated thing. All right. So the way to do this well, I guess these strings are going to determine it. I suppose I'm going to take my major chord quality thing up there and ask you, I'm going to compute the notes involved, and then I'm going to give you I'm not sure how to quite get there. I certainly need to give you this because that's going to calculate the fret positions from the starting frets. But you might start in the middle of the fretboard and need to go down and up, so that's a little complicated. In a way, maybe I should just give you the notes. If I looked up the notes and said, here's the three notes, D, F sharp, A, and you walk through your string and find them, and then do that for all the strings and add them up. I think that's about right. Okay, so let notes for chord equal, well, we're going to take quality. You know, I'm going to move these up. Quality dot pattern. getting it in is the thing for now. Okay, if I can ask quality dot pattern pattern, and then I'm going to map it to chord root dot plus $0. Okay, maybe I'm going too far. I mean, that would be a better amount to write just now. And then we somehow have to intersect the strings and the notes and get them converted. I want to call that strings. Dot for each. I think I gotta stop here. I hate to leave it like this. All right, but are we missing a end of enum? I guess I left one out up here. Switch, okay. This is unused, that's fine. Test should fail if it builds. Just close it. Let's comment this one. Okay, well, I think we're on a track. I'm not quite sure if I'm driving off the wrong side. Yeah, I got all weekend now. I don't know if the tuning should drive it or the notes should drive it or what, but they're all going to go into a big set at the end. So all we have to do is have a sensible order. So I think we're okay on that front. We'll probably need something to ask the fretboard like, given this string, what are your notes? I think we might already have that, and then kind of intersect it with our positions in the chord. I don't know. There's something funny going on with that because somehow we have to relate it to root third fifth. So we'll get there. All right. Well, thanks for everything this week. I will see you next week, and we should be able to finish this drawing stuff by then, and hopefully finish the chord, finding the chords as well. I mean, given that we have all the notes available, which we will shortly, then that'll help. All right, take care. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye. Monday, 2 to 4:30 or 7 to 9:30 p.m. UTC.